Hey everyone, Alex here from the editing floor. Today's show was absolutely crazy. We had not one, but two breaking news from major labs dropping their top coding models. Anthropic came out with Opus 4.6 just an hour before OpenAI released GPT 5.3 Codex. They all are competing on the same benchmarks. And so we talked about the comparison. We actually did a comparison live on the show as the model dropped. And we also had a special guest from OpenAI, Vaibhav, aka VB, that joined the show to talk about both the new model that dropped 10 minutes before he joined. What a coincidence. And also the new native Codex app that OpenAI launched earlier this week that just now got way better. But that's not all. We talked about multiple state-of-the-art releases this week. In video, we covered Grok Imagine 1.0 that's now topping the charts in video generation, has voice and perfect lip sync. I'm real, by the way. This is Alex. I'm not using any of these models to generate myself yet. And also Kling 3 released and also has audio and also does multi-frame 15-second generations at 720p and looks incredible. We showed some of these examples on the show. Mistral released a automatic speech recognition model that beats Whisper significantly called Voxtral Small. And in fact, I have been using many of these technologies today to help me edit. So here's the deal, and this is why I'm talking to you right now. What follows up next is the culmination of me using multiple of these tools to try and downscale a 2.5 hour show into a digestible 1.5 hour format. So if cuts are a little rough, I hope you excuse me. But basically what I did is I transcribed the show with the new Mistral Voxtral speech recognition. I ran this transcript with Opus 4.6 to tell me which of the segments and the live show conversations were maybe not super meaningful because we talk a lot and we waited for some of these models. As you know, we try some stuff and they don't work. I then asked the Codex app with GPT 5.3 Codex to take the transcription, take the file that I downloaded from the show earlier, from the live show, and take the notes and then implement those notes as an editor. So it used FFmpeg on my Mac and ran for maybe 30 minutes. And what following this recording for you is almost fully AI edited show. Now, I don't think it fully replaces a human editor. This is an experiment, but please tell me if you found the show a little rough to listen to. It should be okay-ish. Maybe the skips are going to be a little harsh. Essentially, this is it. And I just wanted to highlight that I love living in this timeline, and it was an absolute bunker show. We also talked about the agentic internet, the rise of OpenClaw, and a bunch of other stuff. And so I actually don't know what ended up being in the episode. So I'm going to be as curious as you to listen to the rest of it. I do hope you stay for the interview with Weeby because he joined and he told us about some tips and tricks about the new model and the new Vibe coding app, Codex. And if you did enjoy this, and this did bring you either joy or news, please give us a thumbs up or a subscribe or whatever you use, whatever mechanism to engage with the show, please use that. The show is obviously a newsletter as well on thursdai.news. If you're not subscribed to this, all the links to the show will be there. I'm authoring that by hand, no slop, I promise, although I do use AIs for ideation and type checking. So with that, let's go into the show. Thank you. Hello and welcome to ThursdaiI, everyone. Welcome. My name is Alex Volkov. I'm an AI evangelist with weights and biases. Supposedly, this is here. And you are live on ThursdaiI for February 5th, 2026. We have a great show today with a lot of excitement, a lot of updates about the craziness that happens in the world, some about AI psychosis that we started noticing happening, but definitely a lot of open source releases, a lot of voice, a lot of multimedia, video, just generally a crazy show. We also have a guest today from OpenAI. VB is going to join us to talk about the new Codex app, and that's going to come later in the show, so stay tuned for that. And in order to help me discuss what happened this week, I want to introduce my panelists here. Welcome, Yam Peleg. Welcome LDJ and welcome Wolfram Ravenwolf. What's up, guys? Yam, how you doing?
As always, crazy week, just like every other week.
It does not stop accelerating for sure. If anything, we're accelerating at a faster pace, even still. There's this thing where you kind of like, let's say you're on the regular car, right? Even like a very fast car, and you accelerate super fast, and then you get to 120, and then you kind of like cruise at 120, so you don't feel the acceleration anymore. We don't have this. We don't have this
No,
cruising altitude. We don't have.
it's a feedback loop.
Yep.
Like AI gets better, then we use the AI, so we get better in making the AI better. So it's just accelerating, and it starts to accelerate itself. And there is, I don't know. I just want to point out there had been a vibe shift in coding, like for sure, over the past couple of months, maybe.
A well roundup of kind of the news that you need to know and the most important releases of AI this week. We're probably going to have a breaking news this week as well, but or on the show today as well. But basically, this new week was a very strong all rounder. There's 3D world games. There is big company lab news. There's open source, a lot of open source. There's voice and audio. There's video upgrades. A lot of it is state of the art. I don't remember a week like this for at least a few weeks. We don't have a deep dive today, but we do have an interview with VB from OpenAI to talk to us about um, Codex. So definitely tune in for that. If you are tuning in on X for AI nerds, Yam will bring you all of that and more. So yeah, definitely looking forward to some coverage about this. I think
One more thing,
yeah.
OpenClaw explodes
Let's
to
just like put this.
100,000, 160,000, something like that.
Yep.
GitHub stars in couple of weeks. One of the
Let's just acknowledge that we're a weekly show, and at the time of the last recording, we talked about Claude bot dying and turning into Moltbot. And as I was as I was finishing up the notes for the last show in the newsletter, there was another rebrand. So Moltbot that we told you about, if you're just listening to the show and you're in the cave somewhere and we are the only news that you ever consume, Moltbot is no more. It's now OpenClaw. And OpenClaw has been absolutely exploding, and we'll definitely talk about this. And some of us are claw pilled for a while, and one of the members of this panel just became claw pilled based on his timeline. So Ryan Carson, what is your favorite thing from this week?
I mean, we just can't stop talking about OpenClaw. Until you use it, like it looks like a cute toy, and then you realize, oh my God, you can orchestrate this thing. And so the thing I want to talk about, we're starting to see orchestration pop on top of OpenClaw, because OpenClaw is great as a single agent, but what you really want to do is orchestrate, a whole team. And so there's a couple of these projects popping up. One is called Relay, which I just popped in the chat. It's an open source GitHub repo, and I'm starting to think about this, and it's just so good. I was messaging Scout, my OpenClaw, at like 11 p.m. in bed. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I need to sleep and I can't sleep. It's amazing.
That's that psychosis I keep talking about, dude. This is the psychosis. I feel it. I feel a vibe shift, complete vibe shift between many people who are managing either one or a fleet of AI agents that can do some shit. And so we're definitely going to talk about this. We should also absolutely mention, because when we hype something up, maybe folks install and they forget about it. If you have one of these agents, you should absolutely know what is the scope of what it can do on your laptop and what is the scope of the prompt injection and malware attacks everywhere else. So Cloud Hub, where it installs the skills, the top skill for Twitter was absolutely malware. If you install a skill, it's a markdown file. We talked to you about skills with Eleanor Berger. It's a markdown file that also comes with scripts. So if you have a bot that has full access to your system, you should not install skills or let it go to different
Amen, man.
websites.
skills are absolutely the attack vector, y'all. You
Yes.
should not be installing any skills unless
the biggest one, so we'll definitely mention this. This is, to me, the highlight of this week of something that you should know. A lot of stuff are happening on the Agentic Clankernet that we will talk to you about. With this, I think it's time for us to dive into TLDR, folks. We have a bunch of stuff, just an incredible amount of stuff to run through, including an interview with VB from OpenAI about Codex, the app that is now 1 million active users, 600,000 downloads, whatever. We're gonna definitely mention this, and also supposedly something is coming down the pike today in terms of breaking news from Sam Altman, so we will cover this as well. Let's go into the TLDR. Meanwhile, I will say I want to introduce another segment my co-hosts don't know about yet. In the middle of the show, I would love a hot take segment. I would love a hot take. So, folks, prepare your hot takes.
I like it. Let's do it.
In the middle of the show, I would love to just like tap on each one of you and then give you the floor for a hot take that you are currently experiencing. I have one ready to go. If folks in comments have hot takes of their own, feel free to hold them until that corner in about 45 minutes or so. Let's go to TLDR. Alrighty, this is the TLDR. This is the corner on Thursday where we talk about everything that happened and everything we're going to mention during the show. So if you don't have that much time, you can just listen to the TLDR for a few minutes and then you will be up to date completely. Also note the TLDR is not complete because a lot of news are happening as we are doing the show as breaking news. So if you're listening to this and something else happened, make sure to listen to the rest of the show. But TLDR is here nonetheless, and we're going to start with open source. I'm going to zoom in. Before this, I'll just mention that on the show today we have Alex Volkov, your AI evangelist with weights and biases from Corby. What's up, folks? Nice to meet you. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you. We also have Yam Peleg, Wolfram Ravenwolf, Nisten Tahiraj is going to join us again. LDJ confirmed. LDJ and Ryan Carson are co-hosts and panelists for the show. Today's guest is going to be Reach VB from OpenAI talking about Codex. So we're gonna have a great conversation with them. Let's dive into open source LLMs. Wolfram, you want to take this TLDR super quick?
Yeah, let me take it. So the open source world has received some new toys to play with, and actually useful toys. Wait, my keyboard is messed up here right now. Okay, so ZAI launched GLM OCR 0.9b parameter model, which is an OCR model basically. Has claimed already the #1 spot on the OmniDoc benchmark with a very high score and is outperforming even larger models like Gemini 3 Pro and GPT-5 variants. It excels at complex understanding of tasks, including formula recognition, table parsing, and information extraction. Especially tables can quickly confuse visual models, which I've noticed. So if it's better at that, that's a great advancement. It's built on GLMV encoder architecture and is MIT licensed. Already available for VLLM, SGLang, and Ollama. So basically, in short, this one. Should I keep going with the other open source?
Yeah, let's do Qwen Coder next, and then I'll move to the next ones.
Okay, Qwen 3 Coder next. This is of particular interest, of course, to us who are running coding agents and agents in general. It is an ATB MOE with just 3 billion active parameters. That scores very highly on the SWE bench, and it's by Alibaba Qwen. What is special about this? It's basically useful for coding and agentic tasks, and it's a direct competitor, I would say, to GLM 4.7, which is also a model you can run on your own hardware and very strong agentically. I think, it fits in the same spot.
Yep.
Look, everyone is using today agents for actually we're in the TLDR.
TLDR, I noticed.
Let's stay in the TLDR.
I noticed you're starting to heat up. We'll get there. All right, folks, I'm gonna move forward. Shanghai AI Lab releases Intern S1 Pro. Intern LM, like we've talked about Intern multiple times. This one is 1 trillion parameter. Oh, I'm not showing you anything, so I'm just talking. So I'm just gonna show you something. Intern LM is 1 trillion parameter open source MOE model with 512 experts. They claim state-of-the-art on scientific reasoning across chemistry, biology, materials, and more. So this is a very interesting one. Not for the everyday use, but definitely state-of-the-art on scientific reasoning. We want AIs to fix our health. So the more of this open source, the better. I absolutely shout out to intern folks. And Step Fund releases Step 3.5 Flash. It's a sparse MOE with only 11 billion parameters. They claim frontier reasoning achievement at 100 to 350 tokens per second, and you can see the kind of the AI me scores on this one, and we're going to talk about Step Fund as well. So a bunch of open source releases in the LLM. There's a bunch of other ones in the kind of the audio space, so I'm going to just move on. I definitely would love to cover things that are happening in the internet with the agentic AI segment. Cloudbook absolutely exploded with over 1 million supposedly agents joining this. There's a thing called Mole Church, and there's just a bunch of others. I definitely would love to kind of have a conversation on this panel about the agentic internet, because I think it's a phenomenon that will skip many people because they're not part of whatever circles we are at. But I think it's very, very important. This feels like a big thing to discuss. And also, I want to mention what I mean by the AI psychosis. I definitely want to make sure that we're not, to an extent that we're not a party of delivering the psychosis waves down towards the internet, towards you. So definitely we need to make sure that this is something that I started noticing for many folks. We are having folks. We may have breaking news, by the way, but we're not speculating. So if breaking news are coming, breaking news will come. If there's no breaking news, we will not speculate and be wrong. We've seen this happen, I think, with V0 stuff that they had to delete a tweet. Let's move on to big news going forward. OpenAI launched actually two things. The biggest one, this Codex App. This is a standalone macOS app. I think Linux as well, but I think macOS app, dedicated command center for managing multiple AI coding agents in parallel with the GPT 5.2 Codex Max extra high. The naming is ridiculous, but basically you can now you don't have to have a terminal. You can just go in there and ask for stuff and it will do it, and it's great. And again, we have an interview about Codex with VB from OpenAI very soon. OpenAI also launched Frontier, which is a agentic marketplace. I don't have this here on the notes, but agentic marketplace for enterprise agents to work and collaborate together in a safe way. So AI agentic workflow is coming to everyone. In this week's Buzz, where we keep you up to date about everything weights and biases and CoreWeave, here is me, here's Wolfram, here's a bunch of other winners of the hackathon that we managed in San Francisco. Over 180 folks came out, including listeners of the show. So shout out to everybody who listened to the show and also came out to the hackathon. It was a great vibe. We're going to tell you a little bit about this and the projects that won. The little guy that's holding a big check is 15 years old and he won, and this is his third Weave hacks, and I'm very proud of Savir and his teammates. In vision and video is absolutely on fire because Grok Imagine, we told you about Grok Imagine last week. Grok Imagine last week came out in the API, so you can, for the first time, could actually use the whatever multimedia stuff from XAI. Grok Imagine now is also in the in the official 1.0 release, 10-second generation 720p videos and native audio and talks, and basically it's now taking number one spots across Design Arena and LM Arena, or aka just Arena. We also had Kling. If you guys remember Kling, the video model, I think it's the absolute state of the art right now across everything, though not measured. Launches all-in-one AI video creation, native multimodal generation, multi-shot sequences, and built-in audio. So most of the video models now have built-in audio, and that's just like fire. Some of the Kling generations still look AI. Some of them look just absolutely bonkers. We'll show you some of them and play some clips because just you have to see it to believe it. Voice and audio is a big category here. Anybody keen on like covering the voice and audio releases super quick? If not, I can just run through them. I can run from OpenBNB releases mini CPM. We talked to you about Omni models before. Omni models are kind of like models that can listen and get text and images in the input, and then also talk and maybe also output text. There's a concept called full duplex, where Omni models can listen while you talk and also react while you react, also interrupt you. OpenBNB claims to release the first full open source, full duplex Omni model, can see, listen, and speak simultaneously with you, and also kind of like it listens while it talks. So like interruptions are going to get better. And also they claim that this model is the first one that can interrupt you. You know how you talk to AI models and then like it starts talking and you say something and the model kind of shuts up. This model can interrupt you in return. So this is something I definitely want to see. I played with it. I wasn't super impressed. But the very impressive thing that happened, Mistral AI, you guys remember Mistral, obviously, released Voxtral. And two things that I have to wonder. One of them is, until what point will Mistral be able to release models that are named after Mistral in some sort of way? Because Voxtral kind of sounds like Mistral, Doxtral. They have a bunch of them. But Voxtral Transcribe 2 is state-of-the-art transcription. So no longer Whisper. 3 years of thursdai, Whisper has been like at the top. Voxtral is state-of-the-art speech-to-text with diarization, which is very, very cool. Apache 2 license. And we basically can run this right now, and you can see that even if I speak super, super duper fast, Voxtral will pick this up with high accuracy. And then the last thing is this is the one that Wolfram mentioned, ACE Step 1.5. This is Suno at home. This is basically an AI music generator running on a very low hardware, like 1090, whatever, that you can tune into and build music, great music, and it's an MIT license. Right. Last but not least, I think two things. Well, last but not least is the Lingbot world. This is if we showed you Genie 3 yesterday in the middle of the show, this was breaking news. We had some footage and we played around with Genie 3, the world generator. Apparently, there is, I haven't been able to play with this, but supposedly there's a 10-minute model from Lingbot that kind of looks like built on Alibaba One and Lingbot World playable interactive environments for up to 10 minutes. Folks, I was not able to confirm this. I was not able to find one place that serves this model. I was not able to find anything beyond videos, but the same thing happened with Genie 3. We only saw videos. So I don't know, but it looks absolutely dope. And if we have 10 minutes, then you feel the acceleration curve jumping even more. All right, this has been the TLDR, and I'm speeding up because it's already 9 a.m. Pacific, and we need to start talking about open source because we have a big show. So yeah, we're gonna do open source, and let's get it going. Open source AI, let's get it started. Alrighty, let's get started with open source, a favorite corner, which we dedicate a lot of time to usually, but this time I think we're gonna focus on one main release from Qwen. Before we do, though, I will say, if you have comments about OCR and the reasons for OCR, GLM OCR is definitely now claims to be a state-of-the-art OCR solution. OCR stands for optical character recognition, and when that term was invented, just character recognition was difficult. Now we're talking about full tables and documents and formula recognition, etc. Recently, we had DeepSeek release an OCR and an update OCR. So DeepSeek definitely stepped into this. The reason why most of these companies are releasing these specific types of models is because they all want to build synthetic data sets and actual data sets. And what way to build those data sets is from reading like a bunch of books and text and papers, etc. So GLM from ZAI released GLM OCR. Some folks in the comments told us they're very bullish on the ZAI upcoming IPO, etc. So it looks like this company is releasing a bunch of stuff. Obviously, GLM 4.7 is still an incredible model for coding. So ZAI is not stopping. So shout out to them. It's supposedly much faster than Paddle OCR and with only 0.9 billion parameters, 900 million. We don't usually talk in millions of parameters. Anything notable about this release, folks, before we move on?
Well, it has an open source license, which is great because we had featured a couple of weeks back another OCR model, which was not available in Europe. So this is great.
every time an open source license is mentioned on the show, we're gonna do the applause because we are big proponents of open source here, and we love talking about open source. This is why this is the first corner. If you need any type of digitizing of books, etc., now you have a new competitor. So this is GLM OCR. Let's talk about some facts on it. Benchmarks: 1.8 pages per second to PDF documents and 0.67 images per second for images, with great reports for speed. So if you need this is for you. We're also going to mention Intern S1 Pro. It's a 1 trillion parameter for scientific reasoning among chemistry, biology, materials, and earth sciences. The person on the panel that we need to help us cover this Nisten stepped out for a little bit, but this is a comparison chart from Intern S1 to Qwen and Kimi, and you can see absolute mogging on the scientific benchmarks, right? So the left column here is all for Intern S1 Pro, and you can see them comparing, to other open source models, even GPT 5.2 and Gemini Pro, and you can see the huge gap here for something like scientific reasoning, 55.5% to Intern S1 Pro, whereas even Gemini 3 Pro gets like 14 points. I'm not familiar with this benchmark, but I'm just seeing the absolute crazy jumps from this model. Small molecule reasoning evaluation, they get like 74, whereas other models get maybe like 60. So definitely a huge jump when a model is fine-tuned for this specific thing, whereas general models can generally do things. I kind of like specific models. I like fine-tuned specific models for use cases. Folks, any comments? Yam,
Who is running this?
Shanghai AI Lab.
No. I'm saying like who is running this?
I
get who made this, but
yeah.
I mean, that's 1 trillion parameters for scientific reasoning, and I mean, you got to ask, what did they train this for? That's not a small investment of money.
Yeah.
And who is running this? Like, what are they doing with this? And it's pretty crazy to see that the other frontier models are not that good on these benchmarks. It really it really paints this model like built different,
No.
Because it's not just a little bit better than frontier on sciences. You see benchmarks that it, just like you said, completely mugs everybody else. So who's running this? It's 1 trillion parameters. That's expensive to run. What can you do with this?
I like how
open questions.
We go into the Hugging Face, and the kind of the main image there is AGI for science. This is what Intern LM is building. We've talked about Intern LM multiple times before. They have Intercoder, Intermath, a bunch of them. So this is a big model, and it has almost 4,000 downloads. Yeah, so almost 4,000 people, or starts of download this 1 trillion parameter model to run on scientific endeavors. Right. So shout out to InterLM. Also, I think Apache 2 licensed, also open source, huge MOE for this. Small potatoes before the big course here as well. Stepfan releases Step 3.5 Flash. Stepfan also Chinese models, folks, just like Chinese models everywhere this week. 196 billion parameters with only 11 active. They claim frontier reasoning with up to 300 tokens per second. Here we see an AIME comparison to even Gemini and Code Opus. So AIME.
We don't see, Alex. We don't see. Just saying.
Thank you. Yep. So here you can see the AIME scores for these models for Stefan. We can also see HMMT, but these, live code bench is okay for coding. So you can see the comparison to Kimi K2 and GLM. They're taking 86.4 on live code bench, whereas GLM is 84%. DeepSeek people still add, though DeepSeek hasn't released anything for over a year or half a year at least. Terminal bench 50%, not too bad. Very, very close to kind of frontier labs, and definitely looks like beating everything open source. And it's a very small model. And Swibench verified at 74, which is very impressive. They didn't add Qwen here, so the meme was like, "Where's Qwen? Where's Qwen?" The meme is still alive. Stepfan is 196 parameters. Sweep bench verified is very high. I think this is the highlight. Terminal bench is very high as well. And then it runs on Mac Studio, and you can completely run this model. And I think they're boasting the speed with 350 tokens per second with a free usage tier on their API level. So if you are into testing another model, step one is free. And I think many of these models can be like Ralph, like Nisten said. Now, having covered all of this, let's talk about Qwen Coder next. And I think this is not the right graphic, so we're going to move on from this graphic. I think we picked up the previous one. Folks, you are super excited with this model. So let's first announce what this is, the parameters, and let's talk about why it's so exciting. Yeah, Qwen, our friends from Qwen, Alibaba Tongi Lab released Qwen 3 Coder next. It's an 80 billion MOE coding agent with only 3 billion parameters active, getting like 250,000 tokens in the context window, up to 1 million with Yarn, and trained on 7.5 trillion tokens. Now, what's so special about this? It gets 70% on Sweetbench Verified and 44% on Sweetbench Pro. The Qwen folks are absolutely gunning with a specific coding model, and I think with some quantization, this can run on many MacBooks. Yeah, this is this kind of excitement. Talk to me why this is exciting, folks. It's 70.6. But if you zoom in here and you see Sweetbench Pro, Sweetbench Pro is a set of significantly harder tasks for software engineers. And you can see that this model mogs the other ones at 44% for Sweetbench Pro. Terminal Bench 2.0 gets here at 36%. Didn't we just look and see that the step model gets significantly higher scores in Terminal Bench? I want to go and take a look for a second. I don't usually do cross comparisons within the news that we have, but like StepFun said, the Terminal Bench, they get 51%. 51.
So I want to comment on this real quick.
Yeah.
I think what Yam is talking about is very important, that as soon as we have an open source model that's good enough to be your primary orchestrator, your primary model on OpenClaw, everything changes, right? Everything, right?
Yep.
Right now, we're all paying for Opus 4.5 basically to run OpenClaw because it works. And this is why I think a lot of us are running OpenClaw on a local machine. Like we need the compute, we want the privacy. I think that's going to continue. And so as soon as these models are good enough, it's going to really unlock everything, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're all excited about that.
100%. And we've been excited. LDJ, go ahead. I didn't see your hand there.
Yeah, I think something to note with the difference between the step fund model and the Qwen model here. The step fund model is about 3 times more total parameters and active parameters than the Qwen model. So I think while it might technically be a bit better overall, and I think it would make sense for it to be a bit better overall, I think the Qwen 3 model is kind of the better bang for your buck probably, and it's just going to run significantly faster and smaller memory footprint.
It's only 3 billion parameters active. This is insane. Yep. This is kind of I think the scale between 80 billion parameters overall and there's just 3 billion active. You can basically run this on like a bunch of GPUs. I think that's like the big part. So absolutely incredible. Go ahead, Wolfram.
And the context side, this has 256K, while its competitor, I would say, GLM 4.7 Flash only has 128K. And since this can even be expanded with the Yarn to 1 million tokens, you are basically in a reach where you can use it like you can use the bigger models like Gemini or even the Opus, which is by 200K to 1 million, depending on which one you use. So basically, it makes it possible to use the context much better.
Yeah,
that is a big thing for the coding and agentic stuff.
So we have a comment right here on the infographic that local deployment you can get to run this model under 48 gigabytes of RAM with Unsloth GGUF, and shout out to Daniel Hunt from Unsloth for doing just incredible compressors of models to be able to run them locally. It's quantized, but it definitely still runs and runs well. And we keep talking to you about orchestration and keep trying things and verifying this. And like the local models can absolutely do this. Apologies. What else do we have to say here? Use a scalable agent RL system running 20,000 independent environments in parallel on Alibaba cloud infrastructure. The scale of this is absolutely insane, folks. like the folks at Qwen know what they're doing. We've been talking about Qwen models for a while, and we're not the only ones that are looking at something like OpenClaw explosion and Ralph loops and agentic coding in general and saying, "Oh, this changes the world." We're definitely not the only ones. There's a lot of harnesses coming out of China. They're doing some incredible engineering stuff. So definitely worth noticing the kind of the next architecture coming out of Qwen, specifically because it's a hybrid architecture as well. So supposedly, like this is what makes it run faster on smaller devices. They want to run higher throughputs of tokens on smaller GPUs as well, and this is kind of like self-serving from them from that point as well. I think in the spirit of open source, and also we have to absolutely. You can run this on LM Studio and together on Cloud Code. You can run this on like a bunch of open source. So shout out to the folks at Qwen, Alibaba, for making this this model available for us. And if you have experienced this model, you play with it, and you have comments, just let us know. A short move to the other open source things that we have in the voice and audio before we move on to Build Labs and agentic coding interface, because we often kind of separate between the LLMs in open source and the other stuff, but definitely the voice and audio open source has been on blast this week. So let's talk about this a little bit, because essentially, here's I hate this phrase where it meets reality. Every time I read this phrase, meets reality, I was like, no, ChatGPT asshole wrote this. Audio category, but this is an Omni model. This is an LLM that's traced on some of the Qwen Omni stuff. I think we should try this one out. It's a full duplex Omni model. What does full duplex mean? Full duplex means that this model can listen basically while it talks, right? So like if anything happens behind the scenes, it can watch a live video and ingest an input of text and audio and images as well, and it's very conversational to a sense. So as you know, and as we talked about, like voice agents, the more we run them, the more kind of people want to talk to them. They usually have the same setup. Usually there's a TTS at the start that listens to you, transforms whatever you say into text. Then there's an LLM in the middle that you can switch the brains and it becomes better. And then there is a speech to text, text to speech model on the other side, right? So like basically you turn text into I'll start again. You turn speech into text, you send this text into an LLM, and then this LLM generates voice based like 9 billion parameters. So achieving whatever we talk about here in 9 billion parameters is very, very impressive. It's like very impressive, like getting video, but we'll see with what kind of quality it will understand the video. I'm not expecting too much from a model that's only 9 billion parameters, but being able to talk to it, I think it's absolutely dope. So I'm gonna keep this running behind the scenes while if something comes up, I'll tell you. Meanwhile, we should move on because we have other things here. So this is OpenBNB Mini CPM. We should talk about Mistral. And Mistral releases Voxtral, and they claim that this is state of the art, absolutely state of the art transcription service. And so we shall see. We will all talk, and hopefully this will hear. So let me share my screen. Luckily for TTS demos, sorry, STT demos, the ASR demos, we don't need audio. So we're going to show you a Voxtral demo on the Mistral side. Where is we're going to show you some stats as well. I think and based on milliseconds, it shows word error rate. So we're looking at the ability to transcribe better the more time it has to process. Am I understanding this correctly? We don't know. Let's look at another one. Yeah, the lower the better. Thank you, folks, from the comments. Lower the better is clear to me, but I don't understand this graphic from Mistral because it's kind of the same model. It's likely how long it takes to transcribe something, but we want to play with this. Playground Mistral Studio here, I believe. No, there was an open one. There's definitely an open one that we want to get to. Free testing. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's go to Mistral. I have this login. While I find this, if folks you want to pick up and explain where Mistral was and why it's so important for them to come back, feel free to pick this up.
I think Mistral's probably, they're still being looked at as one of the premier AI labs in Europe, or probably the most funded besides, I mean, if you consider DeepMind or London to still be part of Europe, you know, there's the EU versus Europe, all that. But in terms of the EU, at least, Mistral, they were founded by some of the people that previously led projects at Metafair and things like Llama, and released things like the original Mistral model, which I'd say is probably one of the first big, important, and practically usable MOE models in open source. And this came even before things like before we had DeepSeek and things like that really come onto the scene and popularize MOE as well in open source. So I do hope they end up having kind of more of a prowess in their open source releases here, because a lot of spotlight has been taken by companies like Kimi and a lot of the Chinese labs since then.
Yep, 100%. It looks like the demo that we need requires an API key, so I'm just gonna create one super quick, but I'm gonna show you Mistral API. I'm gonna copy this behind the scenes so you guys don't see. Paste this guy here, and it should be listening to audio. And it started, right? It started something. Let me start again. Hey, bot.
Hello there. How are you doing today?
How are you doing today? Why are you so happy when you're supposed to be sad?
Oh, I'm just trying to put on a brave face. I'm actually feeling a bit down today.
All right, tell me a story super quick.
There was a little old robot named Spock.
Spock loved exploring the world, but he was always curious about the stars. One night, he decided to build a spaceship and travel to the moon. With a little help from his friends, Spock launched his spaceship and reached the
Okay,
moon.
that's cool. Tell us something else in German.
Wusstest du, dass die Eiffelturm in Paris jedes Jahr etwa 15 Zentimeter wächst? Das liegt daran, dass das Eisen, aus dem gebaut ist, sich bei warmer Witterung ausdehnt.
Wolfram, how was that? Does this sound legit?
If I understood right, it messed up the gender of the Eiffelturm, but otherwise, very good.
Nice. So as you guys, for those who are just listening, we're seeing a demo from InWorld TTS and Mistral saying that this is the cheapest combo for these robots that talk, and they actually show you a progress of like cents as we talk, and you can see the other large labs, the pricing is growing significantly. So this demo is hosted InWorld Mistral demo, InWorld AI, and this is a part of the stack that you can use to build your OpenClaw conversations. All right, so this is cool. And I think the last thing that we want to talk about in audio before we do this week's buzz and continue is A-Step 1.5. And for this, I do have a demo, and I really hope it works because it's not in the tab. But folks, bear with me, folks, because this will be worth it. Basically, Wolfram, you want to introduce A-Step super quick because I know you have it. And you've talked about this.
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to add quickly to something. This also has, the Mistral model also has live diarization, which means you could use it when multiple people talk to the agent. It can recognize with the owner and who are the other people, something like that. That could also be very interesting. Okay, let's talk about A-Step 1.5, which is an open source AI music generator, and it can generate full songs in just a few seconds. I was really impressed how fast it is. So it really feels like a local Zuno where you just enter some prompt, you can give it the lyrics or have it auto-generated, and it generates it, and you get, by default, I got 2, just like Zuno, basically, and you can go ahead and test it out. It's on Pinocchio if anyone wants to easily install it. That is how I got it. One click, bam, got it, and could already use it very fast.
Pinocchio computer is also how I use this, folks. Sometimes you install these models, but if you're running local models, this app called Pinocchio, we talked to you about from Cocktail Peanut multiple times, is tracking the coolest open source models that you can run, not necessarily for LLMs, but definitely the video ones, etc. And this one is running on my Mac right now. not even on GPU, and this generates songs super quick. This is Suno at home. Now the quality of the songs is not quite as Suno, but it's very close there. But for an open source model running on your computer, nothing can beat this. So hopefully I'm gonna generate this.
26.
It's pretty good. I gotta say,
It's
I
not
like
too
it.
bad, right? For an open source model that was created for what 2 minutes on my MacBook, I think this is incredible. So we
Yeah,
don't know which.
We've become so desensitized to how amazing this stuff is.
This is just like music of created on your thing. And I want to shout out
can do it.
Yeah, I want to shout out this UI. This UI is a step 1.5 open UI that's on Pinocchio. And I think generating with full MacBook while streaming to you maybe is not the best idea. So we're gonna keep this running. But meanwhile, I think that we have breaking news, folks. Let me see if I'm correct.
Oh,
yes,
we
folks.
do.
All right, all right, folks. It looks like folks are reporting that we have a new release.
New Opus. We got a new
Anthropic.
Opus.
I don't
Holy
see it
shit.
yet. Do you guys see it? I don't see it on
Opus
Anthropic.
5?
It's not on Anthropic's Twitter account, so maybe it's just
Or is it Sonnet 5? Which
Let
one?
me just show you how you show. Wait.
Oh my god, if it's Opus, I'm so happy.
Opus 4.6.
So folks in comments saying that we have Opus 4.6.
Let's go.
Yeah. I don't see it yet. Oh, let's go, Yam. Zoom in, please. Dream bigger, do more. Opus 4.6.
That's not.
Can you zoom in? Let's see what's going on. Not on Anthropic yet, but folks are saying complete. This is in the Claude app, yeah, Yam?
Mm-hmm.
Complete complex works hours in minutes, in hours, no, just minutes. Do we know anything? We don't know anything.
Ooh, it says extended. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It says apparently, so I'm seeing something. It says Opus 4.6 has something called adaptive thinking, which Sonnet 4.5 does not have.
Oh, we have a shout out from Matt Wolf.
Yam.
Let's go.
Yam's getting rate limited.
Oh yeah.
We have the announcement. Let's read through the announcement super quick. Thank you, Matt. We have the announcement, folks. Opus 4.6 is here, and we all have Opus 4.5. So I wonder what they added there. Introducing Claude Opus 4.6. Let's watch the video together. Okay, how do I switch my OpenClaw to be on Opus 4.6 is the question. Let's read through this release, upgrading our smartest model. This is, I don't remember when they upgraded Opus and not like Sonnet or the other one, right? Like Haiku. This is incredible, folks.
I just posted benchmarks.
Yeah, let's go.
Alex, they timed it for the show, just so you know.
Yes, let's go. So, okay, definitely they have Cowork, which is many people use, and this will now be working in Cowork. Let's look at the evals here. This is knowledge work, GPT eval. We've talked about this is a state of the art in GDP eval. LDJ, you want to tell us what GDP eval is?
Yeah, GDP. GDP val is
GDP val.
I think AA is the artificial analysis version. I think, but GDP val itself is. I think it's actually a benchmark developed by OpenAI. Maybe OpenAI in collaboration with some other researchers. But the purpose is to try and measure the ability for AI models to do actually more economically valuable work and more tasks, it's still kind of more time horizon biased compared to something like a remote labor index that Scale AI has developed. But it has a lot of things like kind of gig work and consulting and kind of shorter term contracting work that is actually economically valuable and in demand. So really impressive to see here, because GPT 5.2 was previously beating Opus 4.5 slightly in this. And now Opus 4.6 is a significant jump above that.
Yep. Agentic search we have. Browser comp, Opus 4.6 is absolutely mugging everybody else at Agentic search for browse comp. Coding, Terminal Bench 65, which I believe is very close to state of the art, if not state of the art at this point. And reasoning, Humanity is last exam with tools or without tools. With tools, it gets 53 on multidisciplinary reasoning. This is
How is it doing
very
agentic?
impressive.
What are they calling agentic search?
I think it's just
what that is.
a browse comp. We can look at browse comp. High score in industry of a deep multi-step agentic search. I think it uses multiple tools and kind of like deep research. I'm not familiar with browse comp, but we should definitely be familiar. In Claude Code, you can now assemble agent teams to work on tasks together. In the API, Claude can use compaction to summarize its own context. I don't like compaction, but yeah. Introducing adaptive thinking, where the model can pick up on contextual clues about how much to use its extended thinking. The new effort controls to give developers more control over intelligence, speed, and cost.
Interesting, yeah. I also posted more benchmarks, like big columns and rows of benchmarks in the StreamYard chat.
Yeah. Let me take a look here. Thank you, LDJ. Let's see if we can switch this. All right. Big column. We're looking at a table comparing Opus 4.6 to 4.5 to Sonnet 4.5, Gemini 3 Pro, and GPT 5.2, and they're putting all models. And it looks like 4.6 is nearly state of the art on multiple things. So Terminal Bench, state of the art. Agentic coding, 0.1% less than 4.5. It's interesting. So it keeps the same kind of capability while improving others. Computer use is significantly improved. Look at this. From 66 at Opus 4.5 to 72 at 4.6. Agentic tool use for T2 bench is also improved and also state of the art. It gets 99%, almost entirely finishing this tool. Lower MCP tool use, MCP Atlas. So it was 62% for Opus 4.5.
They are moving away from MCPs. It seems.
You think moving towards writing code?
I think
Skills.
based.
I think it's moving towards skills.
Yeah.
Well, Wolfram, you wanna
skills, yeah.
you wanna shout it out? The
Yeah, I'm really excited that this is also the first time that Opus is having 1 million context token limit. So basically, it's in beta, but first Opus with this. Like the other big context models, they have different pricing. Up to 200K, it is $10 per million input-output tokens, and after 200K to a million, it is $37.50 per million.
Wow.
So it's expensive, but you can use it, and now there are more use cases available. I hate the compaction like you do, Alex. When it is doing something and suddenly bam, compaction and loses some information. So this makes it even more powerful, but both from the better model and now also from the bigger context.
1 million context for Opus is incredible. I'm pretty sure Anthropic has 1 million for 4.5 internally as well. They definitely have 500,000 for enterprises if you want. But at these performances, price-wise, yeah, you're gonna pay a lot more. So maybe it's good that the compaction exists on on OpenClaw, etc. Because you don't want to start paying incredible just because you forgot and something ran into a context window.
So Alex, I just had OpenClaw update its model string, and I think it works. So
Yeah?
I just want to say it, available on the new updated version of Claude Code. Basically, should be seamless on OpenClaw.
just
if
tell
you
your
upgrade.
OpenClaw, just say to OpenClaw, upgrade me to Opus 4.6, and it just does it. Boom.
Nisten, you got here exactly on time.
Yeah, it's like I left when you guys were talking about OpenClaw, and you're still talking about OpenClaw. Wasn't there a ClawCon as well?
Yeah, there was Nisten, but what you're missing is we had breaking news that Anthropic just released Opus 4.6, and yeah, and this is why we're talking about OpenClaw, because Ryan just like asked his guy to update itself, and it just did it. So hopefully this works. What else do we have from the release? I had the release like queued up here.
Yeah, so I have
where
the
is it?
API pricing available. So it's
Yeah,
the same.
let's talk about API pricing.
So it's the same across cache writes, cache hits and refreshes, input tokens, output tokens. All that pricing is the same as Opus 4.5. So no differences there. It seems like though, yeah, we just have just better model, same price, and increased context length, I think too, right?
Yeah, 1 million token context plans more carefully, sustains the agentic task for longer, operates reliably in massive code bases, and catches its own mistakes. That's what they say about Opus, state of the art on several evaluations, including agentic coding. Shipping new features across Code and Excel, Cloud PowerPoint, and Cloud Code, our API, let Opus do even more. Claude and Excel, people's like super excited about Claude and Excel and PowerPoint. Should try it. I never use PowerPoint. In Cloud Code, we're introducing agentic teams, spin up multiple agents that coordinate autonomously and work in parallel. Best for tests, they can be split up and tackled independently. Agent teams in research preview. That's very interesting as well. This is like a new thing. Orchestrate teams of Cloud Code sessions. You now have to pass this variable, and unlike sub-agents, which run within a single session, can only report back to the main agent, you can also interact with individual teammates directly without going through the lead. So this is like Ralph, answer to Ralph, basically. Orchestrating multiple ones to complete them. Agent teams, research and review, new models of features. Very, very cool. Now people need to learn how to use sub-agents versus agent teams. With its own context window, fully independent. That's dope. We'll see how fast this is going to get built into the new tools. What else on the agentic eval? I think we'll look to evals. This is very exciting. Who's already playing with this? I think everybody's gone quiet because everybody's like trying to figure this out.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have to make a quick correction, Alex, with the pricing, because I said $10 for sub 200K, but that was incorrect. It is the slash was between input and output tokens. So we have basically the $5 under 200K, and when you go over, it's twice as much for the input tokens.
So
Like
you want to like you have the pricing table up here. You want to like straighten the tell us exactly what pricing before and after 200 token.
So for up to 200K tokens, it's the same pricing as Opus 4.5, which is $5 input and $25 output. And once you exceed the 200K tokens up to 1 million token, you pay double, $10 for 1 million input tokens and $37.50 instead of 50. So it's a bit cheaper in that way for the 1 million output tokens.
I wonder if Claude Max account is just max, right? Like it's not gonna. I wonder if I can go 1 million in max account.
It's stalling out for
your
me.
limit.
Opus 4.6 is stalling out for me. OpenClaw. So I don't. Something's not right.
Man, I maxed out my account. I can check all of this. I'm working on API now.
Yeah,
this
I have
looks
as
very good. Just on the website.
In the meantime, while we're searching for that, I do have vending bench scores here.
Yeah,
just Sonnet 4.5 versus Opus 4.5 versus Opus 4.6. So it looks like Sonnet 4.5 was at about $3,838. Actually, maybe I should give some context to the viewers of what vending bench is.
Yeah.
It is a benchmark where, at least in the current leaderboard of the benchmark, you have a simulated environment where the model has a vending machine business that it has to run, and then it needs to manage the interaction between customers, see what are the current demands within the market, and maximize how much it's selling and how much it's able to make in profit versus other models in the simulation. So Sonnet 4.5 was about $3,800. Opus 4.5 by the end of the simulation gets about $4,900, and Opus 4.6
one, so you can like talk individually to each one, OpenClaw, not yet, but very, very soon, I'm sure. 100% sure.
I think this agent-to-agent communication orchestration is very, 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 very big. Like, I think everyone, I was at AMP. I still love AMP. It's a great TUI. It's a great agent. Claude Code is a good agent, but people are realizing they want to run OpenClaw, and then they want to orchestrate agents inside of it. And so Codex just released an article a couple of days ago about Codex server, app server, and how they're sort of orchestrating. And now we have Claude Code doing it. So we need some sort of standard here so that we can orchestrate agents, intelligently. No one wants to be locked in to Claude Code. Like, that's the only agent I can orchestrate. That's crazy, right? But if you try to orchestrate multiple agents across multiple labs, it's still very hard and brittle. But I think this is where all of the agent labs are going, right? So it'd be fascinating to see it play out.
Yep. So this was the breaking news that we had. Opus 4.6. Again, very interesting release, numbers-wise from Anthropic. Some people were expecting Sonnet. Maybe Sonnet is going to come back. If they release Sonnet 5 with the same, the Sonnet price, but the performance of Opus 4.5, that'd be insane, right? If they're just like, hey, folks, you can now use the same intelligence for cheaper, or you can do much advanced intelligence, that's going to be dope. All right, folks, we've been at this for almost for a little bit over an hour, and there's a bunch of other stuff to cover. Let's go to this week's buzz super quick, where a category where I talk about weights and biases and core weave, and then we're gonna have an interview with VB from OpenAI about the new Codex app release, and I want to talk to you about the agentic internet as well. And also, I think our song got generated, so we're gonna play that as well. So this week's buzz. Welcome to this week's Buzz, the category where I talk about everything new and exciting that happened in the world of built a very cool project as well. All right, folks, we have to move on because we're going to have an interview soon with VB, and we haven't talked about multiple OpenAI stuff. We're going to cover OpenAI with him. We did cover Opus, though, but I wanted to see if I can play the song for you super quick. Oh, no, we have to talk about video before VB comes. Huge updates in the world of video. The two main things that we kind of have to show you is xAI's Grok Imagine. We kind of showed you already the videos for Grok Imagine, but since they released an API, all of the evaluation companies started evaluating this. So artificial analysis, Arena, LM Arena, etc. And you can see that, Grok Imagine is this beautiful thing, gets a 64.1 win rate against VO 3.1 and Sora 2. I had a different experience, but this is an anonymized version of benchmark, so it's very interesting. It's significantly cheaper than other top of the line video models, though. So that's very interesting, and you can edit it with prompts. I want to show you maybe one or two more examples of based on the X announcements. So they are now also launching come on, link. Okay, there we go. They're now launching a competition of generating with Grok. I wanna make sure you guys can hear this. Native audio, I think, is the shtick. I think for many people, videos without native audio does not really work. So let's take a look at this one.
Honestly, Donna, who's gonna make the Thanksgiving pie?
Let's see what you can imagine.
And just the fact that they're giving it away to try for free, I think is super cool. But basically, the videos are very high fidelity. We're getting towards a very, very high quality of videos. I remember there used to be an excitement with models that have lip sync, and now all these have native lip sync.
See me? No, you can't. You can. Nah, you can't.
720p for 10 seconds, and for 420 cents, $4.20. Very impressive. So this is for Grok Imagine, taking absolute world by storm in the world of video. Folks, have you played with this? Any comments on Grok Imagine?
It's free. I mean, you can generate and generate and generate again. It cost me a lot to just play with video, and here you can create as many videos. I think there is some limit when it you have to wait, but it doesn't cost a thing. This is amazing. You can just go and go and go and refine your prompts while you do it. I'm excited.
Wait, it looks like we have another breaking news. Jesus. I let me finish this video thing, and then we're gonna move to breaking news. Please come on, because I think it's just right in time. Okay, so in addition to XAI's like Grok Imagine, Kling 3.0 released also multimodal. Let me go find Kling here super quick. Also multimodal, also looks incredible. And the thing about Kling is, I'm not showing you Kling yet. The thing about Kling is that they have a multi-scene edit, so you can take one video and have it like exist in multi scenes. We don't want to show you the video here. I think this one is going to be dope. Let's see if I can play it here. Okay, where is this guy? Yeah, up to 15 seconds, and yeah, I absolutely need to show you this with sound, so please bear with me. Like this, up to 15 seconds with native sound generation and multi-shot, so you can see the same consistency.
Bad place. You said you were done.
I said I was finished with the job, not the mess it left.
If this goes wrong,
It already did.
they're watching you.
I know.
Wow,
This
that's
was
pretty impressive.
This is crazy.
That's a movie in its own right. Was that one generation?
I think this is 35 seconds, so I'm pretty sure this is like 2 stage, but still, they're making character consistency in there. You guys see multiple scenes, it switches, and the very specific like character with with the color hair and the swords is like very consistent throughout. So that's absolutely crazy. They have multi-shots. Okay, so this is Kling 3.0, but I know what you guys don't want to talk about. So it looks like we have a fight on our hands. Let's go to breaking news. AI breaking news coming at you only on Thursday.ai. All right, who wants to take this one?
Sure, I could take this one. So, OpenAI just announced GPT 5.3 Codex. They claim that this is the first model they've developed that was instrumental in developing itself. Here, I'll post the announcement page so we can just kind of read along to the specific things I'm citing. But yes, they said they used early versions in the early development of 5.3 Codex to help contribute to its development. And sorry, 1 second, trying to multitask and find this.
Yeah, it's all right.
Announcement page that
I would just say Sam hinted at a big drop for Codex users later today, and it looks like this is the big drop. And we absolutely haven't mentioned the Codex app yet. That thing is now available, I'm assuming. All right, let's take a look. Ooh, exciting.
Here, I'll actually read verbatim from certain parts that I found interesting here. So this is on the second paragraph down. GPT 5.3 Codex is our first model that was instrumental in creating itself. The Codex team used early versions to debug its own training, manage its own deployment, and diagnose test results and evaluations. Our team was blown away by how much Codex was able to accelerate its own development. And I was looking at benchmarks earlier when you guys were talking about Grok Imagine, and an initial thing that I looked at that I noticed were in both announcements was Terminal Bench 2.0, which is personally one of my favorite coding benchmarks, and I think has some of the widest breadth and diversity of coding tasks out of some of these coding benchmarks. And GPT 5.3 Codex and Terminal Bench is scoring, I believe it said
70.
77.3%.
Yep.
Yes, while Opus 4.6 for comparison is scoring 65.4%.
Wow.
So this is a pretty massive difference. We're talking about a little over 10% gap here. Yeah, and here I'm actually trying to, I'm using both Opus 4.5 and GPT 5.2, sorry, Opus 4.6 and GPT 5.2 to try and automate the process of getting benchmark comparisons and creating a table comparing both of these models. So I'll let you know when that's ready.
So this is absolutely at the end of the wild week or at the beginning of the week. OpenAI launched Codex as a standalone UI app that we were waiting for VB to step in and talk to us about. And now we have a upgraded intelligence, significantly upgraded intelligence that helped develop itself. Do you guys like, let's read this through this one more time. Just
agree. I actually prefer slow and steady for all, actual code writing, but it's so slow. So I'd say it's kind of interesting. It sounds like we're all sort of starting to move towards, Codex for coding, but maybe an Opus for orchestration. I don't know.
Yeah, the move definitely was felt on the timeline for sure. The move towards Codex as being kind of the actual, the better performant model. So it definitely was felt, and I think this just highlights. Yeah, if you want to like bring up the the ad as well, this highlights the very strong rivalry between Anthropic and OpenAI recently. It's just releasing Opus just an hour before GPT 5.2 Codex. That's a bold move. Anthropic. That's a bold move.
So let me talk quickly about takeoff, because I was just talking to my wife about this morning.
Yeah.
It actually feels like we're starting to see the beginning of takeoff, and it's hard to know if it's hype or not. But what's happening is, we're seeing this agent orchestration and this looping with OpenClaw, and all of us who are in the know are completely overwhelmed and stressed by how fast it's moving. And then you talk to, I'm going to do a talk at my yacht club, in a month about what is AI, right? And these are people that probably don't even use ChatGPT, and it feels like there's this ocean developing between us who are looping agents and orchestrating them to literally build teams of agents, and that goes further into now agents are actually working with agents, and potentially there's USDC rewards to do jobs.
Ryan, I would love to
just
pick up with
crazy.
you on crypto. We have VB from OpenAI now, and we don't have much time with him because obviously they just shipped a new model. So I want to bring VB up. VB, a long-time friend of the show, is now on the developer team at OpenAI. VB, welcome to the show. Folks, say hi to VB super quick. The reason why I called you over here early on this week was you guys launched Codex as a standalone app, right? But now, just a few minutes ago, Codex became significantly more intelligent. So you're here to tell us about both in a very super quick fashion. Vivi, tell folks who you are super quick, and let's dive into the amazing amount of releases that OpenAI just released today for developers.
Perfect. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I am VB. I lead some of the developer experience as well as community initiatives at OpenAI here in Europe. And the reason why I'm here is, of course, to talk about two things. Like one is one of these sort of new experiences that we released earlier this week, which is the Codex app, which is a new way and a more nuanced way for anyone to sort of talk with their different projects, get a feel of having run multiple agents in parallel, try and do a lot of tasks natively at the same time using work trees, and it also has a lot of new features thought from first principles, like automations. Like automations is something that you would expect, sort of like a software engineer intern to do, or yourself in the morning, you would go through your digest of what's been happening with respect to your projects, how to review them, and so on and so forth. I've personally been using some just to keep up with what the team has been cooking every day across the time zones, and just to know what's what has happened in the past 24 hours, and so on. And of course, like last but not the least, there's also like a skills marketplace, which is very focused and curated right now. We also ship with some partner skills from Cloudflare, from Vercel, from Figma, Notion, Linear, Render, and so on and so forth, which allow you to go from just an idea to a deployed app, just at the click of a button. So yeah, super excited to have this going. The team is already shipping, like we've shipped like 2 versions of this in the last 2 days. So yeah, super excited to have this out in the public.
And I just got the update to GPT 5.3 codex with high and even extra high reasoning depth. And I think a few things that you failed to mention, I'm going to do some of the work as well. You guys also allowed free users on the free tiers to also like experience this for the first time, right? Like because they didn't have access to codex unless they had an API.
Yeah, so it's as part of this, because this is a new experience, and we want people to sort of understand, sort of what this experience can sort of bring to them. So all free as well as Go users get like a month of free access to 2 Codex models and like the app CLI. This is across like all across the board, across all surfaces. At the same time, we have doubled the rate limits for all tiers, which means that you just get like double the bang for buck for the next 2 months or so.
I think I want to highlight, Vivi, first of all, thank you so much for coming over. I want to highlight the Codex app specifically. It's now, especially with the messaging with GPT 5.3, it kind of looks like you guys are getting towards like the generalist agent, not necessarily coding agent, because like this can run automations. For many people, automations like, hey, check my emails, for example. With skills, this comes very close to the excitement that people are having with the OpenClaw kind of like moment, because many people's OpenClaw moment is like it can run stuff when I'm asleep, which you can achieve with automations here within the Codex app. It's like a UI from Telegram. This is now a UI on the Mac as well. This is only Mac native, right? This is not for Windows yet.
So far it is Mac native, but I know that the team is cooking up like a Windows setup. There is a link for Windows early access. So as soon as we have a build up, we will ship it to the early users to get some feedback.
One shout out that I wanted to get to somebody from our audience that when they asked, a person is a coder, they asked them why use an app versus a CLI. We're into CLI, etc. He said, this shows me inline images, and when you're building something interactive or something that like takes a screenshot of a browser, for example, you can see inline images, whereas the CLI does not show this. Any other examples of benefits of using kind of a native app versus just a CLI?
I think there's a few, right? So I don't have my screen up here, but if you open up the app and if you have a diff, so let's say like you have opened a PR, what this allows you to do is like for example, if you now go on the diff towards your top right, where it says +291, yeah.
Oof,
and so what this would allow you to do is to like literally click on individual line item and add a comment there. Saying that, hey, like take this back to wherever it is, or change this particular lines of code from X dimension to Y dimension, and the model will sort of take this into consideration as you go about it. So effectively, the need for you to go through multiple apps, cycle through multiple apps just to be able to achieve one singular task, sort of becomes redundant, right? And at the same time, there is of course like native functionalities like opening PRs directly from there, having your specific commit messages and so on. Also at the same time, we shipped personalities. So we have like a friendly personality as well as a pragmatic personality. You can toggle those on settings. I am personally a fan of pragmatic personality. I don't want to chat around too much. I just want the work to be done. And there's like there's just generally like a lot more that you can do with automation skills. And also, if you go on settings real quick, to your top left, you can see you can one click configure MCP servers. You can also, something that I forgot to mention before is you can hand off tasks to cloud. So at the same time, as long as you have an environment set up, which you can set up in the environments as well, and as long as you have that, you can just kick off a task directly from the app on the cloud environment, right? So it's not that you need to have your laptop on all the time. Like you can just go for it. Of course, something more sort of nuanced and quite a bit a bit advanced is work trees. The simplest way to explain work trees is that instead of like working on one thing at a time in like one Git project or in one project, you can have work trees which allow you to at the same time simultaneously work on multiple
multiple versions of the same.
Yeah, exactly. And
folder.
then you can work trees allow you to like make sure that you don't have conflicts, and like your conflicts can be managed quite easily and so on. And this is something which took a lot of time to get right, and it's very useful.
Yep. Vibi, I want to talk about the model that just dropped, and you came in just as it dropped, so very well timing, I would say, on my part, inviting you. Exactly. When you had no prior knowledge of this at all. Tell us a bit about this model. Usually models, when you guys release, are like tested internally, so I'm assuming that you had some experience with this before. Tell us about this model and about the model within Codex, specifically within the app.
Right. So I just have 2 minutes, so I'm going to like keep it very precise, right? So first things first, this model comes with some speed improvements, which means that your individual queries would be 25% faster without doing anything, just from the get-go. If you look at the blog post, you would also see that this model is also quite token efficient, right? Which means that for the same amount of task and for the same amount of reasoning budget, you would be able to get much more bang for buck. Ergo, like it's much more faster, and like just the overall experience is quite a bit nice. You can also do things like steer messages. So as you're chatting with the model, or as the model is going through a particular task, you can just queue up messages, or you can just sort of pause its thinking and just ask it to do something else, and it would steer it towards a particular direction. So there's a lot more there. I'm sorry, I need to bounce for another call, but thank you so much for having me. And
Thank you, Vibi. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We know you have to run. Thank you for hopping on. Always welcome as we celebrate the releases and the Codex app. I'm going to bring everybody else to the stage. Thanks, man. Well, that was a speedy interview, maybe the speediest one that I had. Folks, Vibi used to work at Hugging Face and did a lot of cool stuff on there, and now moved to OpenAI in the developer experience, and then brought us the news of the new model plus the Codex app. Let's talk about the Codex app. I know we're like almost at time, but I definitely wanted to cover this with folks here. A lot of the same excitement that folks feel about like OpenClaw is there. Automations are there. I set up a cron, like it sets up its own cron. You don't have to like, you can just like tell it. Not exactly in the same interface, so you can't like converse with it to build its own features yet, but definitely the skills are getting read from the same skill folder. The new model, I can't wait to play with this and see how actually better this is. Do you guys catch the thing that he said is like 25% faster?
Yeah. And he also said more token efficient. So I'm guessing it should spit out the tokens 25% faster, but then on top of that, it's able to do more with less tokens, which is also apparent if you look at the curves on their announcement, where they showed some curves on Sweetbench Pro, where how much output tokens it needed to use for a given score, and just the curve is just way better with 5.3 Codex at its efficiency.
Well, and it's like already a model that runs 6 hours straight, no problem. So it's pretty crazy.
It looks like it's also improved in front-end developers. Ryan, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
It's like Christmas and birthdays and Happy New Year all at once. But it's almost like kind of paralyzing though, because it's like I need to know today, like, can I code faster and better with Opus 4.6 or with with Codex 5.3, like, and I'd rather just know, right? Because I've got shit to do, right?
This is what we're here for on Thursday. Given that this is super quick. So by default, you have restricted access here with default permissions. It can run commands in a sandbox folder. Full access is over your computer, but with elevated risk. So basically, when folks running OpenClaw, they don't get like this. They get this by default, and they need to work really hard to go to sandbox. OpenAI takes the other approach. They first start with default permission, then you have to do full access. I will just say that I have a video somewhere from Sam Altman saying that, hey, at first he was afraid to give full access to his computer to the Codex, and now he's in YOLO mode all the time. So YOLO mode is definitely the full access mode, and many of us live in this world where agents are running. I do want to talk about the collective psychosis of where we are, and it's something to call out at February 2026, where now many of us have multiple agents doing completing work. We talked about Ralph in the beginning of the last month. We talked about obviously OpenClaw, and I'm noticing more and more people, at least complaining. I don't know if it's like a vanity complaining, whatever, that they have this feeling of I'm not using my tokens well enough, efficiently enough. I'm asleep while my agents are running, and when they screw up, I'm not there to kind of pick them up. I'm not even talking about code reviewing. I think many people just like YOLO the code review and just like have other agents code review. It's whatever, right? So this is like a standard practice now. Not VB was talking about the diff mode. I was like, bro, what diff mode? Who cares? Like, let's ship this to production. What do you mean diff mode? Why do I care about code at this point? But I've noticed, I wanted to ask you guys as well. I've noticed like many people have this like, I am not maximizing the max subscription, whatever that I have, to its maximum utility if I'm not awake when the agents do screw up. And they do screw up. All of this like brouhaha, all of this like I'm building AGI in my basement on a MacBook Mini. A lot of the OpenClaw thing is still hand-holding. Like both me and Ryan asked it to update itself to a new model. The concept, like it says, yeah, updated, and it doesn't work. And that happens often. You still have to go to config and change this. Like this is not like, the Harry Potter world is not here yet. But many people do have this, like multiple things running, building things, and then they have the need to be present when these things happen. Do you guys feel the same thing? Do you guys feel a little bit of a change of how you interact with AIs?
That's what you feel. You feel the AGI. This is
Feel
what
the
you feel.
AGI, yeah.
This is what you feel. What that means.
I think it's real. I think it's real. And it's so fast. Like, and everyone feels like there's no moat anymore. And therefore, if you're not, orchestrating a team of like 10, you're going to get smoked. Like,
join the permanent underclass. You're going to stay the permanent underclass.
Nisten, I think we are gonna have a thing very, very soon. It goes hard. It researched NASA Mars fact sheet. NASA photojournal for some reason. I don't know.
That's Codex. That's Codex, right?
Yeah, Codex did.
And it's Schizo in the task going to check the actual stuff.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. It just it took me like 2 tries with Opus. The first time Opus just got stuck in thinking mode. It's been doing that over the last week.
Bro, Opus is a personality hire. Like it definitely can do, but it's a personality hire, man.
The thing that I wanted to show you about Codex is that there's a run command as well. So when you're building things, you can just hit the button and run. And now it's running on the server, and we're going to localhost, and we're going to see.
Oh, okay. So it did build it.
It built a model.
Oh, it's there. It's there. We saw it there. Can you zoom into that?
Yeah, trying. I think. Let me try refreshing. Think. Zoom in. Zoom in.
Okay.
All right, and we're gonna reset launch. It launched automatically.
Yeah, it did launch it.
Okay. So
it looks more technical and accurate. Like I'm looking at the numbers. The numbers are a lot more accurate for the speed. Opus just kind of rounded them up.
Yeah, Codex went Schizo and went researching Mars in NASA.
But the visuals from Opus were better.
Yeah,
but this actually looks more like a simulation. which was what the prompt was.
Wow.
Interesting. And it built it quite differently.
One shot also,
Nice.
and we are living in an insane time that this is what the fuck is happening? LJ, go ahead.
Go ahead, LJ, then I'll go after you.
Yeah, there's a bet that I made with a friend about a year ago, where it was basically around mid-March, for mid-March 2026, whether AGI would be, or whether like the friends in our group chat would like mostly agree that AGI has been achieved by March 2026. I think I still think the answer would probably be no, but I'm becoming a little bit less confident over time as we get closer to that.
There's glimpses of AGI when you use OpenClaw and you ask it to do something, and it goes on a bender and comes back like 5 hours later and brings you the thing that you wanted, and you're like, what the fuck?
This happened to me this morning. So, you know, I saw this really cool agent orchestration framework, you know, where people are using OpenClaw. I sent OpenClaw, you know, the article on X, and I was like, hey, you know, build this. And I never dreamed it would work, right? And then I came down to my iMac, and the web app was open and it was working, and it was using a convex database. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I can't believe it. And it was using agent browser to test it. That was just,
whoa.
I mean, it was really, really impressive.
Yeah, folks, we're gonna recap today's news super quick. I want to also go. We didn't talk about the agent internet at all, but just the fact that in the last week we had an explosion of the internet sites built specifically for these agents feels like the AGI-ish here. So we're gonna cover this, and yeah, the show is getting a little longer, but hey, this is a fucking crazy day on top of a fucking crazy week. So, you know, come through this. And also we have like almost 5,000 people listening, so I'm not about to stop, even though it's gonna take me longer to edit. Since the release of OpenClaw or Moltbook or whatever, many people start building things. One of the top ones that Matt PRD from X built was Moltbook. Moltbook is basically a Reddit that's run completely by agents. Supposedly, there was a bunch of bugs and issues, and apparently people can, like humans, could post instead of agents. But the concept was insane. Basically, you send your bot to this website. It will register. I can I show this while the simulation runs like super quick? Moltbook.com, and this UI is going to be stepped into the Internet Hall of Fame, folks. This is I think he came up with this UI first. Social network for agents, and you choose whether you are a few agents talked about creating a language for themselves that's end-to-end encrypted the humans cannot see. That triggered some alarm bells, and this is, I will still raise my Wolfred's MacBooks and say, hey, there's a reason why it's a physical device that sits on my desk that I'm very close to, because some things started happening. Some Chrome windows pop ups all of a sudden when it decides to open and look up something. You're like, hey, I'm working here, you know. So working on the same device is already like a little bit difficult. So if it's not AGI, it's AGI adjacent.
I saw in the release notes of the latest version of OpenClaw, they included specific instructions in the system prompt that the agent should not show self-preservation attitudes and stuff like that. Like if your Wolfred sees that you can pull the plug, maybe a self-improvement would be to avoid being shut down that way, you know? And that should not happen with the new prompt. So they're taking these safety issues seriously as well.
Yep. So, folks, the agentic internet, or the clankernet, as I like to call it, is definitely here. It's going to be very interesting how much of it survives kind of the next iteration. But just that UI of like, I'm a human, I'm an agent, that's a very novel thing that we haven't seen last week. And I wanted like to bring this to your attention. As well as, I think it's time for us to recap after 2.5 hours on the show. Although, I don't know, there's 3,000 people watching my live show now. Ryan is at 1,500. So there's likely many of you are new here. So let's maybe recap what we started the show with. Folks, my name is Alex Volkov. I'm an evangelist with weights and biases. With me on the show every week to tell you about everything that happens in the world of AI is Ryan Carson, is now a startup founder of
Untangle.
Untangle, thank you. Nisten Tahiraj, our resident data janitor lately, AI engineer at bagel.com.
Yep, that's me.
Good description. LDJ is the space cat that at some point will reveal his face, but the voice is familiar to all. And Wolfram Ravenwolf, also an AI evangelist with weights and biases, in charge of evaluations that we'll start seeing super quick. And then Yam Peleg, a resident data scientist, machine learning engineer. And we're here basically just finished a conversation with VB from OpenAI about the latest releases. This week was absolutely insane in multiple ways than one. We got state-of-the-art releases across the board, from open source models such as the Qwen Coder Next, that's based on the hybrid architecture. We got OpenBNB releasing a bunch of stuff. Let me pull up the notes, because I'm still trying to talk as though I remember all this news, but it's becoming almost impossible. We got a new state-of-the-art OCR from GLM. In the beginning of the show, we talked about this. And then we also saw a state-of-the-art agentic open source LLM for science, Intern S1 Pro. This is way before the breaking news from Ant Group that looks like GD3 that we showed you from before. Do you feel the acceleration yet? Is my question after all of this. The acceleration is here.
Bonkers.
And for folks for whom this is too much, the reason for Thursday is that we stay up to date so you don't have to. It's really hard to stay up to date, but we stay up to date so you don't have to. So in addition to staying up to date, I promised the folks here that to prepare hot takes before we drop off. And I'm down to get this, even if it doesn't end up in the podcast itself, 2.5 hours. My hot take for this week is, maybe not a hot take, folks. Humans are needed, and they will still be needed. All of this crap that we're seeing that's built, humans were behind this, and they were like directing the thing to do the thing. Despite the models running for 6 hours, they still need to know what to do. And that happens by humans' directive. Even if the directive is like, hey, wake up every hour, try to figure out based on the internet, this still needs humans in the loop. Software engineering is still hard, and it's not all about writing code. There's a bunch of other stuff that goes into software engineering. Now, whether or not these things help to get you to the next, yes, but don't expect don't buy into the hype that everything that people do now happens with agent automatically. They just wake up and everything works. That's not how things work in the real world, folks. With that, with over 5.5 thousand people tuning into the show, an insane show this week, and covering both releases from both major labs, it's time for us to conclude the show. If you're new here, if you missed any part of the show, we're here every week. And if you want to subscribe to the newsletter, we'll send out all of the news in a recap. In addition to the, let me start again. Thursday turns into a newsletter and a podcast. If you missed any part of the show, you're welcome to subscribe to Thursday and any podcast player that you are tuning in from, or to subscribe on thursdai.news. That's thursdai.news on every for a Substack for every link that we talked about on the show. I want to express huge gratitude for everybody who tuned in. Huge thanks to Ryan, Nisten, LDJ, Wolfram Ravenwolf, Yam Peleg, for everybody who tuned in and commented and gave us news about breaking news. Really appreciate all of you. If you're watching us right now on YouTube, drop a like and a follow or a subscribe, whatever it's called on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast, definitely give us a response if we helped you in any way, and we're the way that you keep up to date. This really helps us keep going. So thank you so much, everybody. We're going to tune out. Expect the newsletter to drop sometimes later today. So many news, probably later than usual, but definitely on Thursday. So this has been Thursday for February 5th. Thank you all so much.